Live from the Rift Wine Bar on Scottsdale Road in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. Sitfly Clothing Shop presents the WazzyCircus Radio with your host, WazzyCircus.
Free fly, kiss the sky and fell in love with my life. And that kiss is God's gift to mankind, cause men fly with the kids and the wise. It ain't easy, just try. Heels down, knees wide.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the WazzyCircus Radio, live from the Blue Sky Lounge at Rift Wine and Tap. Patreon, check us out. We're building it. We could use your help. $5 a month goes a long way. We're trying to get the mobile podcast center so we can go on the boogie tour. All my friends are at Skydive Chicago right now on the Lost Prairie Boogie. I see y'all, man. My guest today, legend in Arizona skydiving. Everybody knows this guy. There's people showing up left and right, man. 1,400 skydives, 30 years in the sport. Big wave jumper, my buddy Tony Peralta. What's up, son?
Hey, what's up, Waz? Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, all day, man. How's it going, Tony?
Man, doing well. Doing really well.
Yeah, man.
I'm blessed, dude. I got a lot of hitting on all 8 cylinders, I just say right now.
Right on, man.
Doing all right.
Yeah. So, big waves.
Yeah.
Big waves. The most intimidating thing in the sport, almost.
Belly, for me, ever since I started doing, my first big wave camp was here at the airspeed. My God, it was an eye-opening experience.
Uh-huh.
But that's what got me the bug, and I didn't realize how much I didn't know.
Right.
All the basics involved in big wave, all the just levels and
it's
all the
not
gear.
normal skydiving, man.
It's that was 20 ways. They started out right there about 20 ways, one aircraft, and then they started multiple aircraft, 10 out of one, 10 in the other, stuff like that, and that's just way out of my league. I'm a weekend jumper,
Right.
Never. It was just something that I always wanted to get away, be a better skydiver, because I had so many years of just shit show skydives, man. You gotta
learn.
Buku, bad habits established. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I didn't know the basics of what was necessary to be successful in the completion. Because that's the name of the game in the big wave world, man. Completions, and I've only the biggest completion I've ever had is 101, and that's the juice that I'm chasing right now because I've only had the feeling of being a part of a completion and experiencing the quiet, and when it's a complete build, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just flying, and there's no tension on it, man, and you just looking underneath the grips, and you're like, oh, seeing your cross partner over there just grinning like a mother. Yeah. And that's that feeling that I want to repeat it, but a completion in something bigger than a 50 to 100 way, it's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, man.
Because the experience levels, especially in camps, you don't get the invites unless you're doing well in camps because they're sizing you up for the records and stuff. And that's my goal, is to be on a record skydive. And I've fallen short, man. I've choked. I thought financially it's a big commitment,
right.
Time wise, traveling, and thinking you're prepared, and you're going to a camp. I've done my initial camps were here with Eloy with the airspeed, and then Ian Peterwitz, he goes, "Hey man, you wanna check out the big wave stuff? P3 is the place to go, man. Paris, California, Dan BC, K. Cooper Jensen,
right.
The big
legends,
dogs.
the big dogs.
They're the real deal. Well, we got them here too. Craig Gerard also steps in and coaches. He's a captain out there as well. But they bring all the big dogs from everybody there was involved in the 400 in Thailand."
Right.
You know what I mean? A 400 wave, bro.
Ooh, I've got that on my wall at home.
It's an incredible story, and they get a bunch of people that are weekenders like me, and they put us in an environment. It's a low pressure type situation, but like I said, the financial commitment of attending as many as you can to be seen and get coached by some of the best in the world. It's something that, fortunately. My wife supports. She understands what I got a goal in mind, and I've been chasing it for a while, and it's on and off. Right, I haven't jumped in a month right now. It's been 4 weeks since I got that. That,
This is a prime example.
what's up, Dambo?
Come on in, Dambo. Get on camera,
The
man.
students surpassing the teacher and never ever giving up. Blue skies, my brother.
Love you, man.
We love you.
I love you too.
Yeah, that's Dambo Ennis, man. What up, Dambo?
One of my first jump masters right there, man.
Yeah.
Love him.
That dude's everybody's first jump master,
Yeah,
man.
man. Both those cats out there, all three of them out there. Marcus Beret,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Beardsley, my best man at my wedding, and Dan Dambo. And a few like Kevin Vetter, you know what I mean? Came from a small Cessna drop zone that had an amazing staff of skydiving instructors, passionate, led by the
What drop zone?
Arizona Aerosports out there in Maricopa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Rigger Bob Sprague. He's
Okay.
the owner of that one right there. He started out with Larry at Wild Horse, Coolidge, the whole moves, and then they had a little separation after Larry went to Eloy.
Right.
I did a static land in Eloy in 92 static land out of a Cessna there. We're just airstrip and some bleachers there.
Right.
And then I got into a whole lot of trouble. And then kind of got through all that storm, you know, and then came back and figured I needed to get my ass in the blast and knees in the breeze again. And that's when I found all these people that came today. You know what I
Right.
mean? They're my brothers and sisters, man. They took me in a time of my life where I was starting brand new, man, fresh out the pen on parole kind of situation, trying to get custody of my daughter,
Shit.
man. You know, it was a whole new thing, man. But it was, you know, and they're still with me,
Right.
you know. Rigger Bob Sprague, he's since passed for a few years by now, but, you know, we're all here, products of what he generated, what he started, you know.
Nice.
And like one of the gentlemen out there, his name's Mike Beardsley, and I was a terrible student, dude. I was a big old chick of shit, man. The terminal, I never even got face to earth on my fives. Because I came up old school, you know. What did Dambo have, like 25 freaking static land jumps before he got off students?
Yeah.
I wasn't all that way like that, but I was pretty close.
I heard you spun like a
Oh
motherfucker.
wow,
Dog.
that was coaching, man. I was on student status still, and nobody, because I felt so slow, nobody wanted to jump with me. You know what I mean? They couldn't keep up because I felt I was so light. And Dambo, he goes, man, when you get out, you get small. You know,
Right.
he didn't say get out, get big, then get small. I got out small right out the door, bro, and I was just spinning all the way to pool time, bro. All the way to pool time, man. That was it, and he still remembers that pretty vividly, and I do too. But Beardsley got me on I was a Rigger Bob, you know. I was struggling. I had never even I hadn't even been on my 10s yet. You know, I wasn't
So
even
what
at
were you
terminal.
doing? What were you doing?
I was just a big old chicken shit, man. I was getting out 1,000, 2,000, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and dumping, you know, PRCPs and stuff like that. But on the 10s, I was chipping.
Mm-hmm.
I was going into I'd freak out and I'd go into my military stuff. And so bending forward at the waist,
Oh, trying to grab a rug?
just, you know, with my reserve in the front.
Right,
you know,
right,
just
right.
that body position. It was just. Because Bob said, man, you Army guys, you got to open that,
Mm-hmm.
bust your head open and take that chip they put in there, you know? So he goes, you need to go higher. So he took me up on an ASL dive with Beardsley out here. And we got out, went up to about 10.5. I hadn't been up anything higher than maybe, I forget what it was, man, but it was between that and 10. And it took me up to 10.5. And we get out and I'm stable, man. You know, I'm doing practice touches, and I'm all right now. That was the first time I ever tasted stability. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many jumps were you in at that point?
Maybe 15, maybe 10 or 15, something like that.
Y'all have no idea how hard it is,
Yeah.
static line, man.
And sure enough, man, you know, he'd given me all the hand and arm signals for like an ASL, almost like AFF, I suppose.
Right, yeah, it's pre-AFF.
Assisted static line. Anyway, so he's giving me the pool signal, man. He's pointing at me, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you pointing at, man?" and I'm looking at my altimeter, but the lights are on, nobody home situation. You know what I mean? And you know, so he dumped. He pulled my rip. We had rip cords at the time, and spring launch pilot chute. So he deployed my main for me, and I landed in the P's. And Beardsley had my ripcord in his teeth, and he's like looking at me. What happened? I go, I got stable, no go, man. And then I went up right away with another cat named Chris Knight. He's an old crew dog, and I've been stable ever since, man.
The light bulb came on.
Oh my God, it was amazing, and they would say, well, stability is overrated kind of situation. You know what I mean? But I'm old school belly flyer, man. I realized that I've tried free flying a little bit, sits and stuff like that, man. But I come to the realization that I'm at my age right now, getting better. Like I love doing four-way and above, So, and then in Eloy, you got access to some of the greatest skydivers that ever done it. Coaching Craig Gerard and Liana.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hamlin just always out there, always letting the hand and airspeed. Joey Marshall, all those cats, and they have a great lineup, and they're so generous with their time and their knowledge, and they want all of us to be better. And what a better environment to be around, what I mean?
Oh, it's the best.
And then, we have access to tunnels and tunnel coaching and stuff like that. But the community, the big way community to me is, they want you to stay fresh doing four-way because it makes you a bit better. You can apply those skills to big way flying,
Right.
And but getting opportunities to do big ways is far and few between, few and far between.
Is it getting less, you think, now?
No, I think there's a hunger. There's been a fire lit because of the 250,
Yeah.
Because it's an international crowd for the 250, man. People come in from all over the world. I got, the big way community is. I'm a fortunate man. I have friends all over the world, UK, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay. It's amazing community that once you know the deal, once you got somebody and you jump with them, man, no matter,
family.
Our community is unique, and we surround ourselves with skydivers. You and I are skydivers, and the people here that are coming here are skydivers. But like your last guest, Amy Chimilecki, after her interview, she goes, "It's cool hanging out with skydivers out in the wild,
Yeah, right. Just
there's a skydiver spotting, And then and they got Amy Chimilecki, dude. Red Bull,
Pretty rad.
and Frank. What I mean?
Fucking Frank is the man.
Gold ticket skydiver, bro. You want a record? You call Frank. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Anywhere you need him, and he's humble, isn't he? Humble.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I got the bug. That's my juice. I have goals that I'm still working.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, you used to work where I work at. Many years ago, and they treat me good, but it affords me. I'm inside in Arizona. You know what I mean? It's AC, and
right.
I've been there for so long that I'm one of the senior techs on the floor. So my experience is, trying to share it with the youngsters, and either they pick it up or they don't.
Dude, that place used to blow the fuck up all the time.
Oh, well, I used to work in blending. I used to make that stuff.
No
Yeah.
shit.
I was in Building 9, dude.
Yeah.
Building ZPP.
Dude, so
by
Building
hand.
9, Building 9, I think, is that the one with the blast wall in the back?
Yeah.
That motherfucker blew up when I was there.
I think it was Sal that year. He was a heroin addict.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You ate a Sal, and he had just because him and I used to go to meetings together.
Okay.
But he was a heroin addict, and I never had a buck the white horse, man. My deal was drinking and cocaine,
Right.
But we related on a level, and he was clean, but he wasn't because they ate him after that incident because he lost a bay, and
he lost a bay. I was at work that day.
Yeah, well, they had the blowout walls over there. He's lucky he survived. We haven't had any fatalities at that spot. They've had some pretty significant injuries there, and it's all because people taking shortcuts, bro. All the time, man. And when I started working there, I was on parole, and there was a spot to make a little bit more money, So I went to powder processing, and my military experience, high explosive military experience, I was qualified and felt pretty comfortable around that kind of stuff. I had a lot to learn as well, but there was this old cat, his name, 10 Fingers Charlie Wallace.
All right.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time, because he was working with some stuff it's comparable to the old school nitroglycerin, you know what I mean? Very minute just milligrams of just stuff that's just wickedly sensitive. And the stuff we're working with ZPP out there, that's some very sensitive, and we pound the shit out of it. And I work in the loading room where the bulk powder, when that would go off, the bowls would go off, or the processing bays would go off. it's a pretty. It's not considered an explosive. It's a pyrotechnic because of the speed of it, but it's
Okay.
still very powerful stuff. Because we're using milligrams of weight of these things for the airbag deployment system. So
Yeah, so we used to. It's the airbag component in your steering wheel that makes the bag come out, and my job was to weld the fucking wires onto the explosive part.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
things would blast in our face all the time.
Yeah.
We had a little blast guard and shit, but you line everything up, you hit that weld button, you be like,
Bam.
ding.
Yeah.
That shit will blow up in your
With
face.
Tigwell, they used to work at Tigwell. We lost a lot of parts there, but the bowl ignitions, that's the ones where we'd have to. It was like Humpty Dumpty, but it had barricades were double lot steel in there. A big old double lot plexiglass on the windows and everything. But we've learned a lot. We used to get away the way I used to work back there, and I tell the cats that are working there, the process has changed. But we used to dump zirconium by hand, bro. Boom. And that stuff could ignite just by rolling it out because it's metal. And it has, and under microscope, it looks like a bunch of jagged little mines. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
They're jagged, so even that little bit of friction can set it off.
And you guys were just dumping
And we were
it.
just dumping it in and then putting that, we were soaking it down by hand, and then there was 4 steelies inside a stainless steel pot, and we would put in the zirconium, and then we put the acetone and break it down. Then we put the oxidizer on top of it, and then the binder, and then we covered it in foil, and then step out of the room and turn on so it would spin for a little bit, and then we'd have to go back in there and get the steelies out of there, and then pour it out, and it was archaic. You know what I mean? It was something that the industry standard hadn't really been set with that type of process. I guess because they started out being a Hollywood for special effects, like all the bullets and bouncing off walls and movies and stuff like that. That's what it was first, and then it went automotive. But I've learned a lot, and I've been fortunate. I was in an ignition that I played by all the rules. I wet everything down because I was breaking bolts on these loading machines because they're real dusty. And there's residual that gets everywhere, man. I mean, there's some certain characteristics of this one powder where it spills. You know what I mean? You got a little spoon going in and out, and you got this bowl vibrating, and it have a little spoon that goes in and gets the quantity of powder we're using for that specific product. And it had a little bit of spillage. So over the years, on these dials and there's a lot of moving parts, this powder migrates to all these little hidden spots where a water or a sponge or something like that will go underneath all the guarding around it, right? And it's just a bomb ready to go off. And I found it that day, man. It was a trip, man. I was like, boom, 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 boom. I had gone in there, I wet everything down, and there was a part bouncing around on this track, and I put the sponge on it, make sure it was wet, and boom, boom, and I loosened the bolt already, and there was a part bouncing in this one track, and I no longer even put my wrench on that thing, and it just went off, boom, and it was like a fuse, and it went all the way around the guarding. So underneath, it was a compact cookie of this stuff, and it was stainless steel. Probably about about 1/8 inch stainless steel that it was underneath. And that stuff pulled up like aluminum foil.
Just
boom, and it went, every time it got to a pocket of power, it would ignite, and it went all the way to the bowl. And I was in the machine, man. Boom, and I thought my hands got blown out.
Oh shit!
It was all full of smoke, and I was just stunned. And I remember they use it for a training video.
Do
now.
they?
And it's been years, and just something about that, man. I don't know if it was my military experience, whatever, but I didn't get shell shocked by it, man. I went back in there and I started, had to put it back together again. Hey, Tony, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm all right. But I just got some bruised ribs from where I was at. I had a container got blown up and it hit me in the ribs. But the blast went away from me.
Lucky.
It went away. It didn't come towards me. It went away. Boom, 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 boom. And it's inside all this plexiglass, so it didn't get away too long. But all the bolts that were on these J boxes, they were shooting around the room like 22 caliber, and just yes, a lot of energy went off super quick, and I just count my blessings that it wasn't my day to die.
What a fucking crazy job, dog. The things we do to skydive,
and then to relax, I go skydiving on the weekends. You know what I mean? Get away from all that danger, But
Oh,
I felt
shit.
safer in the sky with the people I was with. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
at the same time, trying to. I got my daughter. You know, she was young when I started skydiving. Is when I was trying to get custody of my daughter, and she didn't know who I was really. You know what I mean? It's a long story, but it worked out. It's one of the things that I knew she was my child as soon as I put my hands on her.
Right.
But it was never ever. I was never in the running that I was a father, even though we were seeing each other. But then we split up. We were together for 5 years.
Okay.
My daughter's mom and I, and never got pregnant in 5 years. You know, and I used to do a lot of dope. So when she got pregnant, we were split up. So she was doing me, and we were junkie love. You know what I mean? We were both addicts. I was using hard back then too.
So did you develop that in the military? When did you start using, dude?
Oh man, shit! I was drinking early, you know, but
Right.
I just smoking mota, you know what I mean, marijuana, and then once in a while do a little bit of blow once in a while, but I didn't really get into the blow till I went to Panama, man. I was in Panama special. Went down to TDY in 84,
What's TDY?
temporary duty.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an instructor down at the School of Americas at Fort Gulick.
What was your job in the military?
I was a gun bunny paratrooper on a 105 howitzer. That's why I went Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
No shit.
Yeah, I went to basic at Fort Sill, man. Lawton.
Yep,
January.
Lawton.
Cold motherfucker.
Fuck the Oklahoma winter.
Hawk will cut through. I don't give a damn what you wearing, bro.
Yeah, dude. I used to have to walk backwards to class. I went to college out there, dude.
Ain't nice,
Put the hoodie
man.
on, walk backwards, cover your face,
Ain't
dude.
nothing to break that wind for nothing. Man.
Nothing,
But yeah, I went to
dog.
basic training there.
Okay.
But
Paratrooper.
yeah, 82nd. I went to jump school in 81. In May of my first jump was in May of 81. T10s, C-130.
Yeah.
Went to the 80 deuce, 5 jumps after that, and got to the deuce and everything. It was on then, man. You know, because they used to call us the jumping junkies, bro. We stayed high, man.
Really?
If we were in garrison, man, they had beer machines in the barracks. You know what I mean? And it was like what they used. Everybody smoked. Everybody smoked, man. That was one of my first questions. My roomie said, "Yo, man, you cool or what?" You know. I said, "Yeah, sure." So they moved the tiles and they get the wind blowing just right and started burning dope in there, man. I said, "I'm gonna be right at home over here."
Yeah.
Man, I never looked back, man. That was just standard operating procedure, you know. And it wasn't the only one. You know,
Yeah, of
but
course.
before they brought the UA in,
Mm-hmm.
because when they brought the UA in there, everybody failed that month. There wasn't no, but I mean, it was almost like more than 95% was
Right.
failed that first one. They gave you a pass on the first one, you know. But unless you're an NCO, and I was probably maybe a E3 or E4 at the time. And but we stayed high, and then when we couldn't smoke dope, I started doing mescaline, man, doing fry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
there was
couldn't-
that time.
They couldn't detect it with
Right.
the UA. You know what I mean? Man, I'm not proud of it, man, but you know that's
It's the way it was,
Yeah,
man.
it was-
It's just story, bro.
you know, and living in the barracks. You know, I was a barracks rat, dude, and all, you know, shit, dude, it was on like a motherfucker, man. There was weapons and C4, and the MPs got busted with about 4 kilos of coke in the MP is right there and down the street from me, man. But I used to run with a bunch of other locals over there too, lowriders.
Right.
You know, techniques, distant image. We'd all go to Smith's Lake over there and just cruise and did what we did back home, you know.
Right.
But the raza, there was about, Jesus, almost a dozen homeboys from my hometown were at Fort Bragg together. My brother, the guy that I started, him and I joined the army together. My neighbor. Yeah, dude, we stayed lit, man. And a couple of them, one of my homeboys, Danny Chaboli, him and I, we did that static line jump together at 92, I think it was, at Eloy.
Okay.
And we had been on an all-nighter, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's all we're going to do, man. We had a couple of quarters, then we ended up getting some more and stuff, and we're just, no more. And then we ended up not sleeping at all, and then we went to and we got away with it, man. You know, the jump master, I'm not going to mention her name, man, but, you know, because I have a lot of respect for her now, you know what I mean? But I didn't think we were going to be able to, but we weren't stumbling or anything like that, but we reeked, dude, you know?
Right.
And then I found out my jump master on that jump, he was a freaking heroin addict. But, you know.
Dude, it's just the way it was.
Yeah,
Arizona
you know,
back in the day, it was
yeah,
nuts.
You know, it was Wild Wild West.
Wild West for sure.
You know, but in Cool Town, you know,
Coolidge, yeah.
when Mullins would bring the King Air for $10 skydives all winter long, man. That was on. That's my homeboy right there. That's your boy I was just talking about here. That's my boy right there.
Nice, man.
You know, he's... for all of us, my dad was a paratrooper. My brother was a paratrooper too, man. We were all paratroopers. And then we were all in prison at the same time.
No shit.
DOC, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of that thing you did. You did county here in Madison?
Yeah.
The horseshoe.
The
Madison.
horseshoe, son.
Ooh, but
That
the
motherfucker.
sandwiches. Oh my. George,
Oh, the
you ever
fucking the loaf, the fucking pimento, whatever the
Ladmo
fuck.
bags.
Ladmo bags.
Ladmo bags.
Y'all don't know about them Ladmo bags, son. Oh my
not on the
god,
weekend.
dude.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'd trade the sandwiches for oranges, dude. I ate oranges for like a month.
There was always one guy happy as fuck. He's sitting in the middle of the floor, especially on the weekend, dude. There ain't no room for nobody in there.
Nobody.
You know, it's a wicked place to be.
Wicked.
Had to do some time, but I'd rather do a year state time than do a Monk County time.
Yeah, motherfuckers don't even know, dude.
No.
I mean,
County,
and, dude, county, man, there was a time that I couldn't wait to get to my cell because I knew I'd have a peaceful place to sleep because I had a rough time too. You know what I mean? The streets ain't fucking nothing nice out here. And like going down was like a break. I'm like, I get to sleep for a little bit. I get some food, get my shit back together, you know, go play some chess, read some books, and then they kick me back out on the streets is how it felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking Ladmo bags.
Yeah.
That's so funny. For anybody listening, there was a show called Wallace and Ladmo here.
Back in
the day. It was like a skit
Legend
show.
City stuff.
Yeah,
in the
dude.
city.
And then I don't know why they give Ladmo bags to the kids on the show. It was like a little treat bag. So when you got to county, and then you get a job at county making the Ladmo bags.
No, really?
Yeah. What was that fucking meat called? It was something, dude. It was so disgusting.
Yeah, it was like a bologna sandwich almost, man.
But
With
it had
Wonder
like
Meat.
Wonder Meat.
It was horrible.
My God, it was green.
But that
and
was
shit.
Joe Arpaio was running that show back then.
Arpaio,
10 City.
Tent City.
Every time, when I got out, and I was sober, right? But I didn't have a driver's license. When I was getting out, and went back to school, I started working immediately after I got out of the joint because I knew I had to make it right to get my daughter. I needed to stay clean. Yeah, and I didn't think I was be able to do it. You know, I went to an AA meeting in the joint, not because I wanted to, but they said it looked good for the parole board. And I went to parole board early because of the overcrowding. I was a first-time offender, class 4 felony and below. I met the criteria for, you know, it's like a lottery that they're going to let so much of a percentage out.
Right.
You know, I was like, I was no dangerous criminal. I was just an addict, you know.
Right.
Anyway.
Most guys are just addicts.
Yeah, all the yards, like the wino yards, now they got Chomo yards. They got all specialized yards for everybody. But they put Maz in Supermax over there for a month and a half.
We're out in Florence?
Yes, CB8.
Fuck. The walls, homie. The walls.
Wow, that was Central, man. But I was, they put me in SMU. Not because I was supposed to be there, but because they didn't have no room on the yard I was supposed to go to. And I was going to go kick town with my brother over there in South Unit. And when you get processed in Alhambra, they take everybody to SMU and they got the dog kennels in the back.
Right.
And they put everybody in the back. And they put your respective yard, Reining, Central, the walls, you know, whatever yard you're supposed to go to, South Unit. I was supposed to go to South Unit. And
I was in East Unit.
Yeah, so the dogs came and took everybody. And we're the last two dudes, me and this brother there. And I go, yo, CEO, man, what's up with the South Unit? Ain't got no room. You guys would be residents of SMU, man. My fucking ass puckered like a mother. I was like,
is that a gladiator yard?
Oh, it's just lockdown, man.
Oh,
24/7.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
Fuck CB8.
That.
That's Supermax, bro. It's like Pelican Bay, man.
Oh,
5
man.
on top, 5 on the bottom.
Yeah.
The Justice Court in the back over there, no cameras, no nothing. Walking into that pod with my issue was the wake up call. Look who the fuck you're at, cat. You know, I new guy could just feel the eyes hitting me on the side of the cheek. Like I didn't know who was anybody. I was a fresh fish right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then my Sally was up. My house was up on top in the first rung. I had to go up the stairs, and my Sally was a Filipino guy from Mesa, Dykeman. You know, he's just a cat banger from Mesa, but he had a TV, but that was his house. He got in there, nobody said shit to me, because I was a new fish until I got my check. And
then here they
I
come.
took my check, man. So I knew it was up. I was 31 years old. I wasn't no kid. All my boys, you know, I ran with cats that everybody did time. It was just part of my society, my culture. You know what I mean? And it was no big
Tell me
deal.
about it,
I was
yeah.
not that I'm proud of it, but you know, I manned up. I did that to myself.
Right.
You know, nobody put me there. I didn't. You know, it was just. I no call it a rite of passage, but I stood up and I did my time. But when I got my check call, man, everything changed after that because, you know, I stood up and I did what I had to do, and it worked out in my favor. And other boys saw that I had some heart, man, and time was, you know, because there's going to be somebody eventually you're going to have some beef with on the yard.
Every time.
You know, but
motherfuckers are bored.
Yeah, you know, it's I'm from Superior, right? And half the dogs on the yard were my homies from high school, dude. They'd come in because I was working in the kitchen in the CB8, man, for the lockdowns, bro. And they'd have to come pick up the hot carts and the
trays
cold carts
and
and all
shit,
that
yeah.
stuff, right? And take them up. And my homeboy, hey, what's up, Carnal? Hey, man, shut the fuck up, man. Don't be talking to me over here, man. Don't put me in a bad spot.
Right.
So one day, I hadn't been to CB8. I just got there. Early, like 2 o'clock in the morning, man, they rolled me up. Hey, Peralta, I go, what's going on, man? You got to do porter. Down in one able, bro. Hannibal the Cannibal ship, plexiglass, dudes, but making figurines out of their faces.
Shit.
It was,
All day.
I was like, fuck no, I ain't doing this shit, man. Give me the fuck, write me up or whatever. But I felt like I had never felt the presence of evil in my life until that moment, man.
That's
and I
the
said,
bowels of that
yeah,
motherfucker.
dude. Oh, no,
dog.
dude. And that cat, I used to work in the kitchen, right? And we'd be in the back in the Sally Port on the dock. And I was a porter making 10 cents an hour, bro.
Yeah.
You get paid every 2 weeks. They take taxes out of that damn check, too. $6. Not for my rollies and little bit of top tobacco.
Right.
A couple nutty bars and stuff. But you would see this cat, the dude that I was in that one wing able, the Ninja Turtle would be geared up, because the thing was happening over there was they were capping guards using freaking zip guns out of pans with 22 calibers, man, through the feeding tray. That's why they were all right geared up and bulletproof vests just to feed these motherfuckers in there. But this cat, so they got him. These guys are righted up, extraction geared up for one motherfucker. They had him all Hannibal Cannibal masked on him, butt fucking naked, 4-pointed all the way to the, and they just hold him down with a damn fire hose out back so they can go in there and clean his house. He was dehumanized. You know what I mean? There's no the man's humanity was gone. I don't know what got him to that state, but you know.
Fucking lockdown got him.
Yeah, you know, it's a horrible place, man. You know, I'm not proud of it, but it was necessary for me, man. It was a blessing that I got a second chance, man. And once I got out, man, it was like, you know, I knew, because my daughter was born 11 days before I went down. And
how long were you down for?
They gave me 3 years. I only had to do 7 months, and I was on parole for the rest of it.
Oh, was it? Oh, that was back in the day. It was like
2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for
Soft
1s,
time.
80%. Like, yeah.
Soft time. It wasn't even hard time. Soft time, hard time, and flat time. Day for day, flat time. But
yeah,
you know, it's what you know. It was one of those things where, like I said, I'm not proud of it, man. But for me, at a time in my life, especially when I realized, because when Melanie was born, there was no thought that she was mine. I didn't even think, you know, I convinced her mom to stay with me. I was junkie loved up. I go, man, I'll raise her as my own. I'll go do my time. I'll come out and I'll raise, you know, that it was my rationale. I wasn't thinking clearly, you know what I mean?
Right.
I did some crazy stuff in those days, man. When we separated, man, I was like, man, I gotta get this one back, you know what I mean? And we're cool now, you know what I mean? But I wasn't, when Mel was born, like, oh man, my baby's being born. It was like, you know, she's having a baby, you know. But that moment, bro, I was there when she was born, and I rode over to the hospital on a freaking bus, man. I ran the rest of it from the bus stop to Mesa General right there off of Mesa Drive. She was born over there. And I showed up over there, and she was having the baby and stuff like that. And she had the baby. I was in the room. And everything happened. Here's the baby girl. And I laid my hands on her, and I knew she was my kid, man. I knew she was my child, dude. It was like...
That's deep, dog.
And I was like, man, you know, I never felt anything like that, you know. So 11 days later, I go to the joint knowing that I was convinced. It was like everybody was like, man, you crazy motherfucker. You want it so bad, you know. So I went away, and when I got out, obviously I thought it was gonna. I gave the address to where her mom's house was. And Melanie was 7-8 months now, and I wasn't even out of the joint fucking 5 minutes, and everything put me there was in the parking lot waiting for me out there, dude. I mean, pase, the 3 P's. The pisto, the pase, and the pase.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. But, you know, and there was Mel, you know, and she goes, you're on parole, I'm not. And, you know, I just knew I couldn't stick around with that if I wanted to stay clean. So I had a book. So I went to my mom's. And I started working immediately, man. And I just, with that intent that, you know what, I got to get ready for when I need to be able to take care of this baby someday, you know what I mean? So that was my intention. So I went to work immediately. I started working at a place shingling over in Chandler, Redmond, shingling mobile homes. There was a bunch of dudes on parole. Everybody who was working there was on parole, you know what I mean? They had and, you know, but everybody drank and was partying still, though. And I stayed away from that stuff, man. I stayed sober. And I couldn't see Melanie. You know, I would send her, she had an aunt that would watch her once in a while. Hey, man, let me see, you know. I said, oh, Tony, I can't, man, I can't. So I leave diapers on the porch before I go to work. Or I send her Christmas presents or birthday presents with her aunt or something like that. You know what I mean? Like Robin Hood pops or something like that.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in. And it all came down to one of my homies was saying that she was going after the guy she thought was Melanie's dad. And so I said, something's going to pop right here. You know what I mean? I think this is good. I didn't know how to go about, hey, man, I want a blood test. That's my child. You know,
Right.
I didn't know what it was. So anyway, homeboy gave me that because when I got out of the joint, she was pregnant, man. And I know I wasn't there for that one, bro.
Right. Yeah.
My letters were steamy, but they weren't that steamy. But anyway, so I knew that she was going to be getting blood tests from this other cat, so one way or another. And he denied her. So that's when I had to do a blood test. And that particular day, I had picked up an old 78 Ford LTD, dude, with some Kragers on it. Man, it was clean. It was running, but, you know, I bought it for like about $300. Anyway, she was going up and down in front of my mom's house, man. And I was working with my Uncle JJ was helping me out. I was putting some new carpet and some stuff on the bottom. And I go, hey, man, I bet you $100. She's going to fucking pull over right now. She's going to tell me she needs to talk to me about something. Not even 5 minutes while, boom. She just looked at me, hey, Tony, I need to talk to you. I said, all right, I'll meet you at the park in a little bit. You know, let me freshen up a little bit. And went over there, and first thing out of her mouth was, how did you know? And I said, yo, I don't know, man.
Spirit told me.
Yeah, it was a trip, dude.
Yeah, man.
It was a trip, man. It worked out, and she didn't know who I was. So, you know, little by little, I go and spend some time with her, take her on walks and everything. But then when I started getting my shit together down here in the valley, getting an apartment, getting jobs, staying clean, but, you know, I didn't have a license, and I was getting popped, driving on a suspended license.
Fuck, that's the cycle.
It's another year on my suspension.
Yep.
48 hours down to the tents, down to Tent City on the weekend.
Tent City.
Yeah, I know, but my PO was cool. He never violated me because he knew I was going to school and he knew I was working. So I was doing everything. I was trying to make, because public transportation isn't an option. The system's not made for you to be successful, man. You know,
Right.
I know what percentage that I represent of cats that find themselves in my situation and aren't be able to have the life that I got right now.
It's rare.
You know, and skydiving gave me that, man. I credit a lot. Sure, you know, I had a lot of people along the way that supported me. Like when I was going to school, and I was taking Melanie to the babysitter. I leave her up at like 7:30 in the morning. I wouldn't pick her up till 11:30 at night because I was working night shift at SDI. You know, so then
off at midnight.
That was all the way till I finished school for a year and a half. I was doing that, and the lady was charging me $75 a week.
Ooh, lucky
So
you.
you know, but she knew me from my days, and she knew me back in my heyday. You know what I mean? And she
Right.
saw what I was trying to do, and a lot of people like that, you know, that helped me out with that, and it all worked out. But you know, the drop zone The people that are outside this booth right now, man, they were there for me when, they didn't pass no judgment on me, man. They just took us both in, and they like when Melanie's here now, so it's gonna be.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it's they're all aunts and uncles to her, and now she's 33 years old and have a grandson now. But that whole story about sticking with something and never, when you got a feeling like that, you know what I mean? It's a once in a lifetime, man. And I was right, because my family was terrified that I was wrong.
Right. What you would do to yourself, like trying to.
I was clean. You know what I mean? And how much, because I remember going to the store with my mom and buying a bunch of stuff for Christmas. And my mijo, hi, mijo, you don't
know.
She would, and I go, Mom, I was alone, man. Nobody had my back on it. Nobody, One of my homies, he's, hey, loco, she could be yours, man.
Right, yeah.
He was the only one, man. And I mentioned him in the last podcast I was on, man. My homeboy Crisco, man. And R.I.P. Carnal. But he's the only one that said that, don't rule it out, that's it, you know what I mean? But he's the only that ever voiced it. And me and that, oh my God, we used to run. But boys, man, I come from a small town, bro. So I went from kindergarten all the way to high school with the same, majority of the same people, man, small town.
Yeah.
Mostly Chicanos, lowrider to the max, man, had a 70 Monte Carlo. What did you have, a caddy?
Yeah, I had a 70 Coupe de Ville.
70 Coupe de Ville. You had 520s on it?
No, I had 13 sevens.
13, Jesus.
215s in the trunk, so.
Cool weight on that. And I was a poor skydiver. A poor lowrider, man. So, cutting the springs. Sometimes I take the springs all the way out. You know what I mean?
Drag.
And just all crackers, man. Just scraping up all the white walls on the tires. Just, but just cruising.
Just cruising.
Cruising.
That was our lifestyle.
That was it. Up and down. And in Superior, we just go up and down Main Street, flip around, bumping, old school Earth, Wind and Fire, just Isley Brothers,
Zap.
BT Express, Zap Band, all that, man.
All that shit.
But I had it. My
it was culture, man. It was the culture.
Yeah,
out here, man.
it was a proud, the mine shut down in Superior, and I think 82, 83. I'm not sure about that because I was in the Army then, and my dad was a hard rock miner. My mom worked for an attorney up there. She did other jobs, but she was basically secretarial. But me and my brother, we thought we were just being cool. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle that I shared with most of the guys I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm sober and stuff like that, most everybody is. They don't. There's a few cats that know me. They're still part of my life. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know me. They don't know this me. You know what I mean?
Right.
They still. We have the same conversations we had 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Still to this day. And, I get a lot of stuff that, I'm not better than anybody, but I chose to have a better life for myself. Break that cycle for being able to give my daughter a decent life. And I was able to do that. You know what I mean? Staying sober, that's the biggest gift I gave myself.
Yeah.
Because without that, I would have nothing that I have right now. Beautiful wife, my grandkids, I got that family dynamic. Because family's always been the main thing in my life. I lost my mom about 5 years ago.
Sorry.
My pops is still hanging. My pops, he's old school local. My dad, man, he's ain't gonna be 88 this year. He's still pulling. Yesterday I called him. He's underneath the truck pulling out like a 77 Ford pickup, pulling on a transmission. Hey, Dad, what's up? It's hot as fuck. Hey, mijo, don't worry. I got everything shored up. I got it. He was a drift miner. You know what I mean? So hard work.
Hardworking, yeah.
All this, he'd do another 40 hours underground if he could. But, he's still tooting the yerba, and have his cold ones and stuff. He ain't hurting nobody, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's big part of our life. As much, he allowed, because he don't come out of Superior. He's never spent the night at my house. He won't come out of that hole up there, too. He's been there all his life, man.
So where'd you move to after Superior? So you were down here in Mesa.
Yeah, I've been down here in Mesa for since 94, 95.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I started working at SDI, and then I got an apartment, and I stayed in an apartment over there with Melanie for like 16 years, man.
What road? Where?
Extension.
Oh, you were out on Extension.
Yeah, Extension between the 60 and Southern.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you were out west a little bit.
Yeah, well, I went to when I went to school, I went to ITT, was down here in Phoenix, and so I got a spot between Phoenix and SDI,
Right.
because then I was working nights at SDI, but yeah, I stayed there for a long time. I'm a homeowner now.
Yeah,
You
God
know,
bless.
yeah, dude, this has been
It's a hell of a ride, ain't it?
You know, it's something I never thought I'd attain, man, because my credit was shot. Because all I was doing paying rent and skydiving, man. All my other bills, I said, man, as long as I got the lights on, dude, I'm going, you know. But it was a different time. I'm not on the path in my skydiving career like I am now. Like I've got this second wind in my last maybe 7 or 8 years, man, where I've got that desire to be a better skydiver. You know, being exposed to the talent, but the world-class skydiver people, you know what I mean? They take the time to, you know, just break it down, everything, man. Visualization, dirt diving, exit.
Huge, yeah.
You know, the hill, you know, presentation, approach, docking, all those
Slot
little-
level dock.
Oh, slot level, look across. Don't look at your slot. You should be able to. It's very small pressure on. They shouldn't even know you're there if you're flying right.
Right.
So that's why I say like the completion is when it's so quiet and you're looking down and you don't see nothing but Craig O'Brien going down on his back to take the picture from the bottom up. Bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Craig O'Brien, dude. Oh my God. And you know, having access to that kind of talent is just to know them and to them to know me, you know what I mean? And,
Right.
and it's a generous society. There's no, back in the day coming up, obviously there was, the word sky got thrown away around a lot, you know what I mean?
Right.
You had guys like Omar and Olav and, you know, Steve Curtis, and they, you know, Steve Curtis don't like wearing that, he doesn't like to be put on a pedestal, you know what I mean? And I don't, it's just you're in awe of these guys.
Right.
You can't help it, you know. It's just when, I remember I used to go to Eloy when I was barely get my license, and being on the Otter and Dan BC, Jack Jeffries, Mark Kirby, and Kurt Werner, John Lemming on the plane, and I just want to get a glimpse of their exit, man, because they do more points on the hill than I do in a year.
You know what I'm saying? Shit's nuts, dude.
But then to see them at events that I'm participating with, you know what I mean, and they they're interested in my progression if I'm struggling. Like, hey Tony, man, you're doing all right. You know, having that kind of somebody in your corner, for somebody like Dan BC to really put me aside, and you know, he's cut me before, straight up honest, man. You know, and I had it coming. You know what I mean? But he cared enough that, you know, hey man, he gives me a different shot. I remember one time the last time in the 100-week club it was. I wasn't getting to my slot quick enough, so instead of cutting me, he put me in the base. And a base on a 100-weight, dude, you got to put on some
weight.
lead. Yeah, you know. So I put on about 20 pounds, and I was keeping up. I did well on the base, you know, but it was he was, I had to earn it. You know what I mean? He could have cut me.
Yeah.
But he see me. I've been in the base, in the middle, and the outs now, but then I do well. My consistency was out. I get in my head, man. We're talking about that stuff, man. Going low syndrome and big way is that's everybody's fear. Nobody ever worries about floating.
Right.
You know what I mean? I go, but that's even worse sometimes. That'll cause a funnel because somebody float over top, take it out, and it's gonna collapse. And being on a funnel, almost like about 8,000 feet, when everybody's almost about to start breaking off, not a good place to be, man. You know, it's
chaos.
But maintaining your faculties in that situation, and like, you still gotta finish the dive. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody, your exit path's gonna be your landing area. You know, you gotta have some sensibilities. You just don't go balls out. You know, survival mode. It happens a lot, but they create an environment that everybody is kind of like heads up on it. You know, and I feel safer on some of those big waves sometimes than I do in a smaller way out here in Eloy sometimes, man, because I don't know that everybody's on the same page.
Right.
When we do like maybe a 16 way or something like that, and they got a lot of unknowns, you know, especially, and I've made mistakes like that too. I'm not above, you know, I'm still learning. I'm trying to be more consistent, but I think I'm just a little bit more selective my skydives anymore. You know,
we should be.
You know, it's because at my age, I'm not bouncing back like I used to, man. I can't run them out like I used to. You know what I mean? I'm jumping to 150. I'm really conservative on the canopy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I take my gear. I take care of my gear. I pack it. I check out my bridle. I check out my kill line. All those little things. You know what I mean? That I should be paying attention to. They're gonna keep me because I want to keep on going.
Right.
You know, like the Latin Skydiver Club.
Yeah, I want to talk about them.
And the Rebels. You know. They've been around for over 65 years. There's some of the oldest jump clubs in the country, but like the Rebels are still going. They got new leadership right now with Anthony Ramirez, man.
Friend of the show,
Chingon. Yeah, man.
Chingon.
That's my boy. He's tight, man. And the Latins though, they don't got nobody to keep it going anymore. There's only one guy right now that jumps it. He's 87, 88. Tommy Vasquez, man, and he's still putting it on, and he's jumping out in Elsinore still. But you know the youngest cat that was, which is Tommy's son, unfortunately is no longer with us. But he was the youngest jumper of the Latins, because after Tommy, there's no more Latins. You know, and it's Bob Celaya used to be a Latin too, and still is. You know what I mean? But the active Tommy's and Emmanuel Cabrera, and then and Pete. You know, Pete's one-eyed blind. You know what I mean? And it's time where, you know, when you get a cypress fire on the jump, dude. You know. So it's sad, man, because the history is so rich of Chicano skydiving, bro.
And nobody knows about it, man. Until I get around you guys and everybody's
you know,
like Chicano skydiving.
Like the Bobby V, Danny Frank, Ruben Espinosa's keep it going. Alex, his son. That's two generations, but they're three like generations of skydivers in the Rebels. You know, proud Chicanos. You know what I mean? That I never signed up with any of it. Not anything personal. That just wasn't my juice, man. You know, I felt I had more of a connection with the Latins when I met them. There was a vato named Pelon Guerrero, man. Vato, super vato number one, man.
Right.
Dude was the most passionate. You know, there's cats, man. The passion of skydiving is unmeasurable. Right. Because I like going to the Hall of Fame events, going to the Pioneers reunions, and all these old cats, man. And you know, the guy, our walking history, Kim Knorr. You know, I've had the honor of talking and knowing Jacques Castel from D2. Right. I1 D2. Jay Stokes, all this
Jay
Hall of
Stokes,
Famers, dude.
Yeah,
you know?
I got ratings from Stokes.
Jay, I played a Beatles song for him and Anna. They redid their nuptials at Felicity at the chapel over there, and I played "In My Life" for him on my trumpet out there.
Oh, nice!
And that's another thing that that I've been able to, I'm known for in the community is my trumpet playing, man. You know, I played happy birthdays for people. I played national anthem at the drop zone on 4th of July one year. That George Hargis, she was a PR marketing girl out there. I love her. Look at George, she's cool as shit. Anyway, Steve Curtis jumping in the flag, and I'm playing, and Steve Curtis, he goes, how long? He goes, how long did it take you to play that? It's about a minute and a half. He goes, well, when I'm at about 2,000, he knew how long it was to take him to touchdown because I wanted to play my last note
as he touched down. Yeah.
Perfect, dude.
Nice, dude.
And I nailed it, man. So, stuff like that, playing happy birthday for people at the drop zone. But my most memorable one was for Ileana Rodriguez. In her Hall of Fame induction dinner in DeLand, Florida.
Sick.
Latency.
Yeah, dude.
Big wig cat right there, man.
Nice, dude.
And, it worked out. I knew it was going to be her birthday.
And she got inducted on her birthday.
On her birthday, October the 8th.
Dude, it couldn't be a nicer person, dude.
Oh, my God. And Craig,
Yeah.
So I got a hold of Craig before all this. I go, hey, Craig, man, I know it's on his birthday on her induction day, and I'm planning on being Rosalind and I are going to the land, I'd love to be able to play happy birthday for her, during, I didn't know what was going to happen, but, he goes, well, let me check with the committee, the Hall of Fame people and all that stuff. I said, cool. So I'm doing 10-way speed out there, you know what I mean? And the events, you know, that's very time constricted. You know, the land's a badass drop zone, man. And I find out that Bob Hallett, he's owned that place. You know, we lost him since there as well. But he used to run a river rap outfit out here in Arizona years and years. So my son, Jake's friends are river rats, and they used to go to Bob's thing and say, hey man, a friend of ours used to do river. He said he has a drop zone in Florida that we can go out there. And I go, yeah, you know. And then I realized that they knew Bob Hallett.
Oh, that's nuts.
And he owned freaking the land.
Oh, that's awesome.
But so everything's going on, the events are going on, and I don't have an opportunity. The night before, they gave a tribute to the 400 way people that are like down there on the beach kind of area, and it was really time sensitive, so I couldn't do it then either, you know. So the day of the dinner, I'm kicking rocks, man, because I wasn't able to do it for when I wanted to, you know. And I had my trumpet up there, and I'm kicking rocks with Rosalinda. She goes, take your trumpet down there to the dinner, maybe just in case you might be able to do it at the dinner, you know. And if there's anything that's gonna, the dinner's even more time restricted, you know. So, you know, so I took my trumpet down there. I had her at the table. We're sitting down there, chatting with the people around there, and I see Craig. I said, hey, Craig, man, I'm sorry, man, it didn't work out that I was able to play for Liliana. He goes, hey, man, you ready right now? I said, yeah. He goes, right, man. So he calls Sherry Butcher. She's up there, the MC and everything. Sherry, 1 minute, you know. You know, Craig taking charge like he does, you know what I mean? And I went and got my horn. I was decked to, I was just to the nines on me. I was stressed out, man. Had my cap on, man. And I freaking nailed it. Her dad was there, her family was at the table, and all the people in the whole place. And I nailed it. I played Happy Birthday for Leona Rodriguez on her induction day. Amy Chimalecki was inducted that year as well. Nice. So it was couldn't happen. Everything worked out the way it was supposed to be, and then I got to give props to my wife that she made me take my trumpet down to dinner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
¿En inglés, español o yo sé? En inglés.
Wow, Tony. Hey, man, how many jumps did you have before you went down?
Oh,
you were just a baby, right?
No, I before I went down, I had my military jumps. I had 60 rounds, 60 T10s, military static line jumps.
How did that affect time when you were in there? Did it eat at you? Did you like dream about it, or did you just block it out?
What's that?
Jumping.
You know, man, it was. Cause I came after the military, I was pretty strong, dude. I was on a spiral, man. Cause I ended up getting chaptered because of my cocaine addiction, man. Dirty UAs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I had good paper and bad paper. I got a honorable in my first 4 years, and then I got a other than honorable conditions on my second one. And that ate at me the most, man.
Yeah.
You know? You know, it's one of those. I don't like saying that I have any regrets, you know, because my life it's just with the cards I was dealt. You know what I mean? The road, it was all my choices. It was all on me, man. I own it 100%. But the jumping part, you know, I loved that. Being a jump master in 82nd Airborne is all I ever wanted to be. You know, going to jump master school after I got back from Panama. And there was a slot for me to go to jump master school right after that, man. And I was like, hey, P, you want to go to jump master school? I go, fuck yeah, I want to. And my unit was shipping off to Panama for jungle warfare training, and I just got back. And so I ended up having all the barracks to myself. Everybody was gone. And but I wanted that ticket, man. I wanted to be a jump master 82nd Airborne, and that's one of the hardest schools to get. And to pass JMPI on your first goal, that's when everybody drops out or gets a no-go is JMPI. Man, I got a first time go on that one.
Nice.
And then I fucked up actions in the aircraft. I put my man on the door about a minute too soon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but that was a minor. It wasn't too bad. And then on the second one, I go around and got it. But that's all I ever wanted to be, man. A jump master 80 deuce, man. And then I came up on some orders. I made E6 after 5 years, and I was charging hard, man. I was jump master, but I was hitting it hard, man. Mm-hmm. And I came up on orders that it was a non-commissioned officer excess roster for the Army wide, and they were going to terminate my jump status. They were going to take me. I wasn't going to be airborne anymore at Fort Bragg, and I couldn't deal with that, dude. I just went into a spiral, man. I couldn't report. I couldn't put a leg hat on my head. I couldn't do it. So dude called me a leg. And you know what a leg is? No. Non-airborne personnel, they call them.
No legs.
But yeah, but we were but we were brought up at like all the black caps at Fort Benny. Man, you despise legs. It was like a hatred type of thing. If you're lowest form of life on the earth, and we talk shit to the legs jumping up and down at Fort Bragg, is an airborne. It's the home of the airborne. Fort Benning is as well, but it really stuck. It was. I didn't handle it well at all. And I lost it, man. I couldn't deal with it. Right. And I failed miserably at that, and I paid the consequence for it, And I paid the consequences for everything, all the choices I made. Right. And I've owned them all, you know what I mean? And I like saying that I don't have any regrets, you know what I mean? I can't live like, but that doesn't define me, right? Right. I like living in the present as much as possible, and trying to be a cool cat, that people want to see, look forward to seeing again. Right. That kind of person, that positive. But being a part of this community is big thing of who I am. Yeah. Get to hang out with cats like you, man. Thanks, man. So straight up, we're unique. Our community is very unique, and I'm proud of being a skydiver, man. Because there's not that many of us, bro. Right. In the great scheme of things, that do it like we do it. At a level, there's the world class skydivers, but we're all the same. It doesn't matter how many jumps you got. Right. We don't look at each other like that. Sure, we have the time for the nationals and the World Cups and all that kind of stuff, and to be able to participate in something like that. I've only done one national, and it was last year, and had a blast. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was here in Eloy, so I had to take advantage of that. It was more affordable, and training for that is, I had one team. We only had like 30 minutes of tunnel and 9 skydives before we went to the national. Jeez, yeah. And we weren't in the basement. We did pretty good. We held our own. We did okay. We had Eliana Rodriguez was our coach too for that weekend. We had 2 cats from Montana, 1 dude from Florida, and then me and Jim Brenneman.
Jim, yeah. Is that when you came and trained with me at the tunnel?
I think Jim. I don't know if Jim was there. I know we just did a flight night. No, you and I I did a solo with you, didn't I? Yeah. And then we did a couple of flight nights. Yeah. With Ivan and Lori Izito and Sandy, I think might have been there. Mm-hmm. I forget who else. But man.
Hey man, you wouldn't be who you are without the story you got, doggy. Right, you know what I mean? The past made this. Yeah. Who knows who you'd be without it?
Yeah, I'm talking to Rosalinda before I came over here. It's who I am, man. Mm-hmm. That's it's never been a passing phase. You know what I mean? It's just my head's in the clouds all the time, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Visualizing, just looking forward to the next jump.
But man, it's powerful for you to own who you are and still go forward and become who you've become, right? So like, think about a cat that's getting out tomorrow. What would you tell him? He's thought about skydiving. He's just getting out. He's on parole. He's trying to find a reason to go on with life, basically. Right. What kind of advice would you give a cat like that?
If a person, in anybody's situation, but coming out of the joint with nothing, you ain't got no family, You know, you don't really have a support. You don't got a plan. Maybe you have $50 if they kicked you out with $50. You know what I mean? But you know, if anybody coming out of the joint, I don't know that being an ex-paratrooper, it wasn't the first thought out of my mind. You know, but the system's not designed for you to be successful out here. You know what I mean? Making your way in this society after you got a jacket on you, your felony is, it's one of the worst burdens to carry. You know what I mean? It's a weight you'll have. Because I got my civil rights back. I got I own a firearm. I did everything. I've taken care of all that stuff.
How long did it take?
Woo, 20 years.
It took me 20-something years.
20 years. And I didn't have to pay my fine back. 15 grand. Didn't have to pay it back. I just wrote them a letter. I said, hey, man, I'm not trying to get over on it, man, but, you know, they never came after me. I don't know anybody that ever paid their fines after getting convicted. You know what I mean? They don't have nobody knocking on the door. They took, no, they didn't take anything. They didn't take any of my federal income tax returns. The state took them. After I got established as Mal's dad. Anything that she had collected that time I was away, they snatched that up real quick. But I'd say, man, I don't think if you have any goals at all, man, if you know, being down and being away from your family, man, if you got a family, if you're fortunate to have a family, be grateful for that, and evaluate yourself and where you're at, where you've been, and where you want to go. It's a decision a lot of people don't really even take the time to really think about, because you know it's overwhelming. Depending on how much time you kicked, you know what I mean? Hey, I was an inmate, bro. I was never a convict. I never had no ambition of being a convict, that's for sure, man.
Fuck that.
I never got affiliated with none of that shit, man. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? I knew the game. I stayed in my lane, and I avoided any conflict with, you know, I played by the rules. I never burned nobody. I never went to the house and tried to get 2 for 1. Never tried to open up a store without permission. Never did none of that stuff. All I did was play basketball and pump iron and work in the kitchen and walk with my boys on the yard, man. That was about it, you know. But having a plan coming out, I had a plan because I knew Melanie. I had something. I had something different. Right. You know, I can't explain what that was. I just know it was something that I never felt like in my life, and running with that, and that's what got me to where I'm at right there. My daughter saved my life. She's 11 days older than me. I say, you know what I mean? Because she was born, and then I didn't get clean. Well, I went to the joint, and that was it. You know what I mean? I stayed clean for like 7 years for that, and then, you know, I started dipping around a little bit, just a drink, but a near beer tossed me off, man.
Yeah, you told me that. I'm drinking near beer here, trying to stay sober and shit.
But you know, I came to the point, realized that I was jeopardizing everything I had worked for, man. So this tour of the 21 years that I got on the 18th of July was all me, saying, hey, man, hey, you knucklehead, you need to check yourself, man, or else you're going to lose all this shit right now. And I couldn't hang no more, bro. La cruda would screw me up for 3-4 days, bro. Couldn't hang no more, man.
Yeah.
Better. I didn't start doing no dope, no. I never did any dope after that. I just drank. But like I said, it's just been 21 years. Jeez, man, it's a long time.
It is a long time.
And I got it, like Mike McGowan's always been real supportive of me. And there's Rob Heron. He's been real supportive. There's a lot of clean cats out there. There's a big deal out there, Drop Zone anymore. I know Trunk's not drinking right now, you know, but people are, it's not as uncommon as it used to be. It's getting more like skydiver supporting sobriety and stuff like that going on. The Friends of Bill have always been around for a long time. Bob Beebe and all those cats, and they just been around for a long time, you know. And nobody sweats me, you know. It's not a peer pressure thing anymore. You know what I mean? Right. It's not a big deal anymore, you know. And I don't white knuckle it. I see people drinking, don't bother me whatsoever, man. I still have a good time, sober as hell. I'm loving life.
Loving life.
Loving life, man. Solid.
Respect. Tony Peralta, y'all. We got to end this shit. Yo, WazzyCircus Radio, hit us up on Patreon. This is the stories we're trying to gather. I'm trying to let you know there's hope out there, no matter where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Love.
Love, bro. Thank you, man.
Of course, brother. Oh, man. That was a hell of a show. That's probably one of my favorite shows, bro. Wow.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you.